Hey guys, Brandon here, back again with another review, this time on Respawn Entertainment's Titanfall 2. After the original Titanfall released in 2014 to mixed reviews, Respawn set out to correct the mistakes of its freshman venture, making sure the sophomore attempt would be better. The biggest complaint from what I can see is the lack of a true single-player campaign, and Respawn delivered with Titanfall 2. Fair warning, spoilers ahead. Titanfall 2's campaign was surprisingly engaging despite its simplicity. It placed you in the shoes of Rifleman Jack Cooper fighting a force that invaded the frontier. The game begins with you en route to the IMC-controlled planet Typhon to take the fight to them. A simple enough premise, except I'm noticing a lot of sci-fi and futuristic shooters are borrowing the same concept. Bad guys invaded us because they can. Kit Harington said as much in Infinite Warfare.
Their mission is to erase everything Earthborn.
You care about your men. You care clouds judgment. That is why you cannot win.
See what I mean? Anyway, after going through a tutorial and giving Lastimosa a dope thumbs up, you're dropped onto Typhon and right into the fray. Your entire force seemingly got scattered, you don't get very far before you're greeted by an enemy Titan, but then are promptly rescued by Lastimosa. After which he immediately gets wrecked. Once you come to, Lastimosa falls out of the Titan and transfers his, Titanship? Authorization, I guess? He transfers his authorization to you before kicking the bucket. Now that the Titan, BT, is your new partner, you need to power him up, so after you find your new best buds and batteries, BT informs you that you're to rendezvous with Major Anderson, whom, just for the record, sounded way too jovial about going down to Typhon.
Lastimosa. Anderson? You son of a bitch, see you down there.
Seriously, Anderson is way too hyped about going to murk some Typhon twats. I'm starting to think you like your job too much there, dude. Anyway, once you're on your way and you get used to fighting enemy Titans, BT suggests a shortcut through a sewer, I guess? It's at this point where the game begins a trend of separating you from BT, but it's not a hindrance by any means. It's actually a welcome change of pace after you've been stomping around in the Titan for a while already. Plus it gives you a chance to really maneuver during combat, wall running, boosting, all that jazz. It's a good time. There's this one section in this level that I really do appreciate, even though I hated it at the time I played it, where you need to fight off waves of enemies until BT can make his way to you. So you're left to your own devices against what seems like an overwhelming force. Once BT can get to you, he mows down everyone, and you let out a sigh of relief. You see this a lot in games, but in this instance you're waiting for a character that you've been building a rapport with to come and save your ass, which also strengthens your bond with said character. Which is also weird, because it's a goddamn Titan. A mech. A fighting robot. I love how they're making me care about a robot. God damn. But yeah, you about to bail on this joint when you're confronted with your first boss battle, a mercenary named Kane. It's a straightforward fight, like the rest of these boss battles, if you can even call them that. Just shoot the guy down until he dies and you're done. I legitimately thought after I won that he wasn't dead and he would come back later, but he never does. That was it. He's just done. That's the issue I have with these boss fights. They don't really feel like boss battles at all. They just feel like glorified Titan battles, Titan fights have you experienced over several times already at this point. It would have been cool to have some kind of environmental aspect to the fight, kind of like moving to different areas or shooting a part of the walls to crush your opponent. Remember, the player character isn't a properly trained Titan pilot. He's a rifleman thrown into an extraordinary circumstance and must survive based on what he knows. From what we can tell, he has no skill in the Titan. He just started doing this shit. So anyways, Kane dies, and you take his helmet and tap into enemy comms for the rest of the game, which is a neat move for the duo to make since they're on their own for the majority of the time. Good strats, good strats. Moving on, the pair come across a facility of unknown origin, and BT says you must pass through to get to Anderson. After running into more enemies, surprise surprise, you discover this is some kind of factory, and that factory snatches up BT because why the fuck not? So now you have to find your Titan buddy and move on, but you have to move through this factory, which is basically code for, here's a platforming level, go nuts. And go nuts you will, because this place is fucking bananas. This place legit tries to kill you. I mean the environment. It's so fun to avoid these little things, trying to figure out how to get around in a matter of seconds while in motion. But it doesn't go like that the entire time, unfortunately. The designers give you breaks between these platforming sections in the form of open spaces so you can shoot people. That basically feels like what was happening here. but they're short-lived, so I can't really rag on it too much. Eventually, you are teased over the PA by your next boss fight, and tells you to go to a certain area, BT confirming that that area is the best way to find him and to get out of the factory. Your next boss fight tricks you into entering a place called the Dome, which is a training space that they turned into a gladiator ring. They take your captured militia buddies and make them fight their own combat robots. That's fucked up, right? Anyway, you fight their little fights and then, well, that's kind of it. Nothing else happens here. You just move on. After some light platforming and the like, you find BT freed and kicking ass. You rejoin him and fight Ash, who was taunting you over the PA during this level. You kill her, and that's the end of this level. Moving on. The next level has to be my favorite level in this entire game. You get to go to where Anderson was hanging out and move in to find him, but you start experiencing these rifts through time as you navigate the facility. You come across Anderson being kind of, dead.
BT, I found Anderson. He's, in the ceiling.
Not so hype about going to Typhon now, are we?
Anderson, you son of a bitch. See you down there.
So you find out he was on a mission to investigate this facility, and upon finding his body, you find a tool that allows you to go back and forth between two instances of time at will. It's a neat mechanic that gets mixed into an already interesting platforming game, so it gives you another layer of problem solving to get from place to place. Exploring the area more will reveal Anderson's log of his investigation so far. Just like any military story in a video game, it has to do with weapons of mass destruction, blah blah blah, more time travel. No wonder you were so excited to get down here, Anderson. I get it now.
Anderson, you son of a bitch.
Once you've gathered all the intel you need, you make a race to the Ark, which is this game's plot device. You're making a break for it, and another super cool thing happens. Look at this. This is hype as fuck. Easily the coolest looking thing in this game, hands down. I did not expect this kind of thing to be in this game, but I'm so glad it is. But yeah, after that dope section, it's back to basic military shit. Send this info to your commanding officer via satellite. Satellite is busted. Go fix satellite. Get thrown by BT. Wait, get thrown by BT?
Trust me.
After a massive platforming section, and for real fixing the satellite, you fend off a wave of enemies while your message gets sent out. You kill another boss, and that's the end of this mission. But the ending of this mission is the most interesting part to me. You meet with Sarah Briggs, the CEO, and she starts telling BT that he would get assigned a new pilot since, you know, Cooper's technically isn't a pilot, he's a rifleman. BT, however, argues that you and him work well together.
Understood. We'll get you transferred to a fully qualified pilot.
Objection. Cooper is my pilot.
You're lucky our backs are up against the wall, BT. Permission granted. That's high praise coming from a machine, Cooper.
Yeah, high praise coming from a fucking mech. Does he have some kind of personality AI or what? I don't know, it's boggling my mind. It's so cool and crazy. But hey, thumbs up. So you're pretty much a part of a Titan squad now, and you and your squad go make an offensive to take the Ark from the IMC. This level is the closest we'll get to a full-scale Titan battle, and is one of the more memorable fights of the game involving friendly Titans. After moving through the area, the Ark is moved into a ship, and the rest of you give chase with the rest of your fleet. Things are really ramping up, and the entire section is action-packed. Loads of fighting happening in the air, and you get jumped by another mercenary Titan named Viper, and you get thrown by BT again, jeez! You board an enemy ship, kill a bunch of dudes, and get backed up by the 6-4, a freelance squad of pilots working for the good of the frontier. They're also super cool!
Glass, take your marks. Guy by the stairs. Tango on the mezzanine.
Shape charges are ready.
Hey, Coop, watch how the 6-4 does it. Pilot Cooper, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Breaching, breaching, breaching! That's how it's done.
Immediately after, you link up with BT and fight Viper, which is a little more interesting because you're fighting on top of a moving ship. However, it's still a burn battle. Just shoot him until he's down. So you're about to be thrown again by BT when Viper is actually not dead yet and comes back to fight BT a little more. You're outside BT at this point, and you have to shoot Viper after his cockpit is exposed. It seems that this is a nod towards Modern Warfare 2's Throw the Knife bit, which is pretty cool given that Respawn was founded by ex-Infinity War developers. Since now you're already on the ship you were going to be tossed to, BT joins you on this leg of the mission, stealing the Ark when you both get captured by mercenaries. After an up-close cutscene with the baddies, BT seems like he's about to open up and reveal the Ark when you get an encrypted message from BT. Are you sure this is a robot? Because he's not acting like a robot. Do you want Skynet? Because this is how we get Skynet. So BT makes a move, chases away the baddies, and gets even more fucked up in the process. BT gives you a Titan eyeball and a dope as fuck smart pistol, and you make your way to chase the Ark. Sarah gives you a new Titan, and you know that eyeball you got? Actually, it had BT in it. So BT is now in a new Titan, and you go kick ass and kill some more bosses. After all that, you finally get to destroy the Ark, but BT decides you need to live based on a protocol he was programmed with. So in an effort of self-sacrifice, BT throws you, again, to safety. You get extracted, and you go back home after a job well done. And that's the campaign for Titanfall 2. I was a little bummed BT had to die, but let's be honest, he's a mech and we can get another BT later. Albeit not the same exact BT, but another BT. I was surprised they managed to get me to care for a mech, which I imagine was a difficult task in the writing rooms at Respawn. But they did it, and it was done without being too over the top. Kudos. The campaign was littered with interesting story beats and level design, especially that time travel level, and kept things interesting until the very end. While it's not perfect, it's pretty damn good for what they did. Even when their first game technically did have a story, it was all embedded in their multiplayer maps. So trying to get the whole story was difficult to both get into and piece together. Respawn adding an entirely self-contained single-player campaign was a good move for this iteration, and they did it with style. Now to touch on some other things. The game's multiplayer is pretty straightforward if you play Titanfall or any Call of Duty, so you know what's going on here. You play, level up, unlock weapons, Titan skins, etc. It's still fun to come back to every once in a while, but it's not necessarily something I'd play for hours and hours on end. Good time killer, if anything. And during the writing of this review, Respawn patched in a new game mode called Frontier Defense, and basically it's a 4-player co-op horde mode that is actually a lot of fun. Now, I thought it was going to be late to this party, but this update actually came right as I was writing this fucking review. It's uncanny how good the timing was for me. But anyways, you and 3 other people go and fight a bunch of AI baddies, but the premise is that you're supposed to be defending I don't even know what it is, like some kind of resource gathering machine. I wasn't paying attention. And basically you go through an X number of waves. Once you beat the last wave, then you win. You get experience based on that, and that actually goes towards your multiplayer soldiers, loadouts, titans, all of that. So it's not separated completely from the multiplayer experience. It's all streamlined into both adversarial multiplayer and this 4-player co-op mode. The last thing I did want to go ahead and mention are the 2 AI characters that they added in specifically for this game mode. I forgot their names already, but they're fucking hilarious, and I'm so glad that they did add these guys in. They're fantastic. All in all, Titanfall 2 is actually a very good game. I kind of regret waiting so long to play it, but, you know, just thanks to the summer sale, I managed to go and swing and buy it myself, and it was actually a very good game. If you haven't played it already, I highly suggest you do. Not only are you going to get a good campaign experience, pretty solid multiplayer experience, and a very interesting Titanfall 2 4-player co-op experience, definitely this is something you want to check out.
Trust me.
Well, hey, thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this review. It took me quite a while to make it, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button so we know you liked it, and make sure you drop some comments down below and let us know what you think about the game if you played it already. I'm Brandon from Breck Studio. You guys take it easy. I'll catch you next time.